archaic language, that's for certain, but some of these things like shall provide for legal services, kind of ambiguous for matters involving or arising out of the operation of the premises, pretty broad. But then you also have a liability section that limits that to just the liability from the control or maintenance. That was, so, it's like on one hand, you have this broad providing legal services for just about anything, and as far as liability, it's only maintenance, so.
I would be more than happy to incorporate suggested changes.
Okay. All right, I can get with
We
you on that.
We've waited 20 years.
And I have, I'm sure, at least several of these agreements that we did, that we look at. Okay,
Sure.
I'll get with you on that.
All right.
Okay.
That's okay with council as well?
Yep.
All right.
All right.
The next item under current business is a city investment opportunity, which is a mystery to me. Councilman Howick.
Oh, well, Vivian and I were talking about the opportunity. Some time ago, the council had discussed what we could do with the city's money to try to further the acquisition of interest, et cetera, putting the city's money to work. We hadn't heard back anything about it. We were talking about a few things that she had learned. We just wanted to know if there was an update in that effort to discover what we could do to try to put the money to use while it's idle.
Okay. I believe the last time we were talking about this, about the city's idle cash, if you will, was in passbook savings accounts at the local bank, okay? And we talked about this short-term investment pool, which is administered by the Board of Investments at the state. Local governments are authorized to invest in that. Carrie, I need you to step in here. You were in conversation with Tina at Opportunity Bank.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, essentially, they'd hate to lose that large of a deposit, so there was a new, basically, you're going to have to talk about how we have.
Yeah, so basically, it's just a revolving, all of our money sits in one account, but it gets spread across many other investments accounts to make interest.
And is insured.
It's insured.
What are we earning right now?
Right now, it's about $8,000 a month.
Interest rate.
Oh, 2.85.
Okay.
What it's at right now.
And about a year ago, it was
It was around the 4.
okay,
It was higher.
which would be reflective of interest rates in general. The last time I looked at the STIP rate, which was a few months ago, I think it was pretty comparable to what we were through this program at Opportunity.
We don't think that there's an opportunity for, I'm going to say significantly, knowing that significant might be a 0.5 percentage point. We don't want the effort of moving around for the sake of mere fractions of a point.
State law limits the investments that local government.
In terms of how much return we can get, or how much we can put in? The type
of investment. Yeah. And while I don't remember the details, I do know it is in state law. And essentially the requirement is safe investments, which translates to small rate of return.
Yep.
We can, however, take a look at where STIP is now.
You know what?
And because
Right.
with STIP, you can invest one day and, okay, so there's a processing time, but so you buy STIP, but you could turn around and sell it the next day or the day after that. So it is liquid. It is It is subject to risk, though, because the short-term investment pool, the underlying investments that the Board of Investments does, while they're safer than some others, there's still risk involved. And any loss in the pool is distributed amongst the participants.
I wonder if it would be, I think I'd like to recommend that it would be valuable that as part of the lead-in to our annual budgetary review, it would be nice to have an annual review of these investment opportunities, just so that we're keeping track of what we can do to try to make as good as we can on the public's money.
Okay?
Yeah, the title of what we have is called an insured cash sweep account. So,
I hate to admit it, but that doesn't mean much to me.
Yeah, but that's what it's called.
Think of it as somewhat like, oh gosh, now that investment vehicle escaped my mind. I'll think of it later, but your point is taken and we can look at that. I can also look at state law and provide you with, here's what it says
Sure.
local governments can invest in. Okay.
And unless others in the council wish, Mayor, I don't think that's necessary to receive until we're ready to go into the budgetary process.
All right. I'll even go so far as to provide you the link so you can look at the STIP.
Well, I've looked at it, but you have to be able to access their portal to really get into a lot of it.
No, you can look at the reports on the STIP earnings.
You can't see what their current stuff is unless you can access the portal. Is that right?
Nope.
What their offerings are.
When a participant invests in STIP, you get one share of STIP for $1. Okay, so invest $1,000 in STIP. Then that cash, actually, the Board of Investments, their investment officers take that cash and invest it in underlying investments. And I'm trying to think if there's, I believe the STIP financial statements, notes to the financial statements might describe the particular investment vehicles. But I wouldn't wish reading an investment note on anyone. They're long and complex with investment risk, credit risk, loss risk, various kinds of risk. But they are out there. But no, I don't recall ever needing to get into the portal to see what STIP was earning and what it had earned the last years, the last months.
I saw something for years, but
Okay. All right.
didn't
I'll
know
just,
if it
I'll
was short term
do
or.
do some checking and
Yeah.
see if I can create something that is simple enough to give all of us a better understanding of what's there. Okay. Ordinance reviews.
The Title 1 and 2 committee is meeting Thursday at 4 p.m.
Okay.
of this week.
Okay. Telecommunications is still on here. I did email as council directed after the last meeting, Visionary Communications, and have received no response from them at this time, which is not entirely surprising.
Is that making any progress on his review?
When I touched base with him, he again referenced Whitehall's adoption of an agreement as an ordinance. He also, though, told me that he was preparing for an arbitration this week, so he hadn't gotten to it.
I'm gonna go out on a bit of a limb. You need to read it anyway,
No.
as a member of the council. If after reading it, in your opinion, it still requires a full legal review by the city attorney, that would be good to bring before the council, to have a recommendation of whether we do or don't.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm, for the record,
Yeah.
talking to Peter.
Yes,
Yes,
yeah, I will endeavor to.
the remaining members of
Do that.
council okay with that approach to see if we can move this forward? Okay. All right, thank you. Public comment, another opportunity? Oh, actually, that will come
Later.
in this, yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Eric,
Yo,
do you have anything to tell council today?
well, maybe. I missed last week, so I'm gonna take up maybe a little bit more time. I got a letter here from RPA asking what the official projected pressures of the new system's gonna be. This is kind of in the form of a quote, kind of not, so I crossed some of it out. The initial monitoring indicates pressures will increase from approximately 50 to 55 psi to between 71 to 77 psi over once the new million-gallon elevated water storage tank is in service. At full build-out, according to our projected growth and increase of average day demand, pressures are expected to decrease from 68 to 74 psi. COP Construction's current plans to have the new tank in operation in July, August of 2026. So I know I was asked to get you guys those numbers, so I got that. The best thing to keep in mind is those are approximate projections of what the PSI is going to come to, but it'll definitely be elevated pressures for the system. So anyway, there's that. The next thing on my little list here is I have another well online, so I'm going to sleep tonight. So anyway, we have well 3, which is down by the county shop, finally passed its back T-test and is clear and ready for use. They are moving very quickly with the water tower once again since the holidays have come on. They got a little mini excavator in there digging out for where the piping is going to go and everything else, so it's moving along pretty good. They're also, if anyone asks what the dirt work outside is that they're preparing to hook up the new water line. They're preparing the drains that go out from the water line and different things like that. So that's what's going on at that moment there.
Eric,
Yes, sir.
so this, and I apologize if you guys already know this, is the structure completely done, the structure itself, the tower?
The outside work of the tower is completely finished. There will be some pretty significant work being done on the inside. That might be frustrating for the public because they won't be able to see what's going on. But yeah. As far as the structure and everything outside, it's done. Of course, they got to paint in the right climate, right? But yeah. So anyway, there's a interesting. I'm completely changing gears on you guys. There's kind of an interesting problem that's starting to arise in town. It's not a new problem, but it's a problem that's starting to rear its head. We are starting to see an increase of larger trash items dumped on us. December was a complete mass